let's talk about heart health. What is the best diet? I mean, you've heard it all, right? Low fat, low carb, high protein. It's confusing. Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to dive deep into the science to figure out what a truly heart-healthy diet actually looks like. And why does this matter so much? Well, let's be real. Coronary heart disease, or CHD, is a massive, massive problem. It's one of the biggest health challenges we face, period. And for like 100 years now, the biggest question has been, what's the connection to what we eat? So, to really get where we are today, we've got to go back in time. Let's start with the OG theory, the one that basically dictated what everyone thought about healthy eating for decades.
Believe it or not, this whole story kicks off way back in 1908. With rabbits, scientists found that if you fed them diets packed with cholesterol and saturated fat, their arteries started to clog up. Okay, interesting. Then you jump to the 1950s, and studies confirmed that saturated fat was jacking up cholesterol in people too. And just like that, the diet heart hypothesis was born. The message was simple and loud. Saturated fat and cholesterol, they're the bad guys.
And honestly, for the longest time, that's what everyone believed. It was the gospel. But you know how science works. Things evolve. And boy, did this story get a major plot twist. See, the whole foundation of this theory was lower your cholesterol, save your heart. Simple, right? But what if it's not that simple? What if focusing on that one single thing made us miss the forest for the trees? And yep, it turns out the picture is way bigger. Diet's impact isn't just about LDL, the bad cholesterol. It's so much more complex. The food we eat can literally cause inflammation, it can mess with our blood pressure, it can affect our insulin sensitivity. I mean, there are all these different roads that lead to heart disease, and diet has a hand in pretty much all of them.
So, what does that mean? It means that old mantra, all fat is bad, was just wrong. It was a massive oversimplification. So let's actually dig into the truth about fat, because it's not about if you eat fat, it's about what kind of fat you eat.
Okay, so remember the advice. Swap out butter for bread and pasta, right? Saturated fats for carbs. Well, here's the thing they didn't really talk about. Yeah, doing that lowers your bad LDL cholesterol, but guess what? It also tanks your good HDL cholesterol. So the net effect on your heart disease risk, it's minimal. Kind of like taking one step forward and one step back. Definitely not the magic bullet everyone was looking for.
All right, but what if you made a smarter swap? Instead of reaching for the bread, what if you replace that saturated fat with healthy, unsaturated fats? We're talking olive oil, avocados, nuts. Now this is where it gets interesting. Your bad LDL goes down, but your good HDL holds steady. Now that is a trade that actually moves the needle in the right direction. A clear win.
Okay, so we've got saturated fats, we've got unsaturated fats, but then there's the true villain of the story, trans fats. And listen to this. This is straight from the research. The damage trans fats do to your cholesterol is roughly twice as bad as the damage from saturated fat. Twice! That's just staggering.
And the hit list just keeps going. These trans fats, which you find hiding in a lot of processed foods, are an absolute metabolic nightmare. I'm talking they crank up your bad cholesterol, they crush your good cholesterol, they boost other nasty fats in your blood. They can even mess with your body's ability to handle sugar. The bottom line with trans fats is simple. There is no good amount, zero. Okay, so takeaway number one. The type of fat is absolutely critical. But let's not get tunnel vision, because fat is just one piece of the puzzle. We got to talk about carbs and a few other key players.
And it's the exact same story with carbs. Not all are created equal. You've got your refined grains, think white bread. Your body burns through those super fast, causing this big spike in blood sugar. That's a high glycemic index. But then you have whole grains, oats, rye, that kind of stuff. They're full of fiber, so your body digests them slowly and steadily. It's a much gentler ride for your blood sugar. And guess what? That's consistently tied to a lower risk of heart disease.
And to get even more precise, scientists look at something called the glycemic load. It's a really clever way to measure things because it looks at both the quality of the carb, that glycemic index, and how much of it you're eating. And the science is super clear on this. A diet with a high glycemic load is bad news. It's strongly linked to higher triglycerides, which are another bad fat, and lower levels of that good HDL cholesterol we want.
All right, let's talk about a real superstar for your heart, omega-3s. These are the good fats you find in things like fish, flaxseed, and certain oils, and they do a ton of good stuff. They can help keep your heart rhythm steady, they bring down those triglycerides we just talked about, and they might even make your blood less sticky and prone to clotting. The evidence is pretty amazing. One huge study showed that women who ate fish just 2 or more times a week cut their risk of heart disease by 30%. 30%! That's huge.
Okay, so we've been breaking things down piece by piece. Fats, carbs, omega-3s. But here's the thing. Nobody eats just one nutrient. The real magic, the real protective power, comes from how all these things work together. It's all about the synergy of your overall dietary pattern. And you can really see that synergy playing out here. Look at these food groups. Eating more nuts helps. Eating more fruits and veggies helps. Eating more whole grains helps. Each one is good on its own, but when you start putting them all together in your regular diet, that's when their protective effects really start to stack up.
So really, it all boils down to 2 very different ways of eating. You've got what researchers call the Western pattern. Think lots of red meat, processed stuff, sweets, French fries, white bread, that's clearly linked to a higher risk. And then you have the prudent pattern. This one's loaded with fruits, veggies, whole grains, fish, you get the idea. And this pattern is consistently tied to a lower risk. It's a pretty clear contrast, isn't it?
So let's pull all of this together. After all this science, what's the game plan? It's actually pretty straightforward, and it comes down to 3 key things. Number 1, substitute. Swap out those saturated and trans fats for healthier, unsaturated ones. Number 2, increase. Go out of your way to get more omega-3s, whether from fish or plants. And number 3, emphasize. Make whole foods the foundation of your diet. We're talking fruits, veggies, nuts, and whole grains. Limit the refined junk.
And if you do this stuff, what's the payoff? It's mind-blowing. Seriously, researchers estimate that if you combine this kind of eating with a few other lifestyle tweaks, like not smoking, being active, we could prevent, get this, 82% of coronary events. 82%. That's not just chipping away at the problem, that's a game changer. It means we have a huge amount of control over our own health.
And that brings us right back to the beginning and lets us finally, officially, close the book on that old, simplistic, low-fat idea. The single most important takeaway from all of this is that quality is so much more important than quantity. The type of fat and the type of carb you eat matters infinitely more than just counting the total grams.
So I want to leave you with one final thought. This isn't about flipping a switch and being perfect tomorrow. It's about small steps. It's about building a healthier pattern, one meal at a time. So, knowing all this, just think about it. What is one small change, one tiny swap you can make today to start building that better pattern for tomorrow?